They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just so different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-2024 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Ridgewood Country Club in Paramus, New Jersey, bringing you the 2024 Atlantic Classic Cup, which is the 11th stop on the 2023-2024 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors Xenon and Red Vanley. I'm David Broderick, along with Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, bringing you a women's finals between Macy Elliott and Lynn Burus, the number 1 seeds, taking on the number 2 seeds, Allison Morgan and Charlotte Sikora. Patty, welcome, and we're excited. It looks like we're going to be in for a great match today. What do you think?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And Dave, we're also welcoming Vera Basanova into the booth. Vera is out of Short Hills Club. We'll hear more from her later. On the near side in the ad court with the long hair swinging away with that pink top, that's Lynn Kiro, and a partner to her right in all black with the white top, that's Macy Hoops Elliott, our defending national champions. On the far side, on the near side, that's a good shot in all black. I think that is Charlotte Sikora. It's hard, they're all bundled up. And to her left is Allison Morgan. Morgan Sikora they have 5 tour wins, Vera and Dave, this year. Phenomenal first part of the season as we head into Short Hills and Nationals after this, and Detroit, and they've made a great name for themselves and really have taken a step, to get themselves in the conversation at the very top in the women's game. And they have a win this year in Long Island over Kiro and Burus, we'll call it the newly married team of Sven Burus. And
Watch your feet.
these guys got married over the holidays. Congratulations to Lynn and Sven. And so that's Macy Elliott, a good shot of her in the deuce court. And I think this is going to be a battle royale. Morgan Sikora have risen in my eyes. They've gotten some wins this year that really make me believe they've got a real great shot going into Nationals.
I think it's going to be a good matchup again. Like you said, they played several times, and they're always usually pretty good battles, pretty tough fights. So it'll be interesting to see. Just want to let everybody know that this match will be regular 2 out of 3 scoring for all the sets, 6-all tiebreaker, and it looks like we have a good crowd over here at Ridgewood Country Club, and their paddle program is really on the rise in the last couple of years. One of their members, Billy Dunn, has done a lot of work in getting a lot of activity and creativity up there, and they have a new beautiful hut, and their head pro is Louis Vauclair, and we know how much excitement he brings to the table. So it's good to see that it's a nice scene over here, and everybody looks bundled up in this cold Jersey weather. But I think they're in for a hot final.
Yeah, Dave, Burus and Elliott are currently number 2 in the country. Morgan and Sikora essentially the number 3 team in the country right now. And in our APTA Cup standings, our season-long standings, Sikora and Hanisch remain at the top with 3,300 points each. But Charlotte Sikora is in 3rd place with 3,000 points of her own. She has a tournament win with Macy Elliott, which is fun. And, it's the season-long race for the Cup, 16 events long. And Sikora went to the lead, was leading the way until Hanisch and Zabori recently took over with the last tournament win.
And that's a good point. I think everyone's in for a treat here, and a potential possibility of seeing a national semifinal right here. in this match.
Carol
The
Overton.
rankings-
Carol Overton at Montclair Golf Club. Carol's a great umpire for the APTA. Amazing volunteer for Junior Nationals. Helps out every way that she can in Jersey Paddle. She's definitely one of Mick Erdoy's favorites there over at Montclair. Carol's doing a great job on this single-digit day out there. It is not easy being an umpire, and we thank Carol for her efforts.
You want to use the new ball that you warmed up with?
This is a fairly small draw at the Atlantic Classic. First time they've held a women's event.
Lynn?
Morgan and Sikora beat Alexandra and Lopez in a pretty good semifinal match, and Elliott and Burus took out Anika and Lalich 1 and 4 in their semifinal match.
Patty, here's a question for you, and I'm going to date myself, but where did the Atlantic Classic come from? What was this the original tournament of?
Charlotte, you want me to hold that or?
Dave, I
was-
believe.
Or
Oh, go ahead, answer.
Go ahead.
Is it new or?
No,
Go ahead.
We're going to wait till these guys finish talking.
All right, fine. Just put it in a bag. I don't care. Yeah. Thanks.
We mentioned earlier that Drew Broderick, Connor Breen took over running this event from Drew Broderick. Connor ran it a year at Orange Lawn. Drew had run it for years out of
We'll get going.
Canoebrook. And was it someplace else, Dave?
Patty,
Was it?
it was originally the Connecticut Classic.
Aha. Hey, Vera.
Yep.
Real fast. Do you have
Yes.
an update, Vera, on two of the men's quarters underway?
Yes, so the latest update for the Nunez Osis Koenig match against the home team of Louis Valclair and his partner Anton
Charlotte, you gonna serve
Pasenko.
first?
Louis and Anton won the first set,
Charlotte?
and
you
by
be
the
serving
sounds
first?
of the crowd, it sounds like they're
Okay.
dominating in the second as well.
Okay, we'll come back for the other result. We'll let this match start, and then we'll continue. I want to hear all about that. You can hear the home crowd is loving Louis
All right, everyone,
Valclair's
I'd like to welcome you to the
quarterfinal
finals
match.
of the 2024 Atlantic Classic Women's Finals will be played on my left in the deuce court, Macy Elliott of Wilton, Connecticut. The ad side, Lynn Kiro, Roxitticus Golf Club. On my right in the deuce court, Charlotte Sikora of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. The ad side, Allison Morgan, Lake Bluff, Illinois. Best 2 out of 3. Good match, ladies. Sikora to serve.
So it's Lynn Kiro Burus. She has a new name, so just to clarify. Vera, you got to see these women earlier. Both teams playing really well.
Yes, the both semifinals were a great show to watch. Charlotte Sikora and Allison Morgan took out Georgie Alexandre and B. Lopez in 3 sets after losing the first one.
Love 15.
4-6. They were able to come out on top 6-2, 6-2 in second and third set respectively. And just like you mentioned before, Elliott and Burus had a close match in the semis as well, especially that second set being very
15 all.
very tight.
Yeah, we'll have to see, Dave and Vera, if this is the match where Burus and Elliott get over the hump. They've been in 4 finals this season, are defending national champs, and they're really, I think, looking for their first tournament win here. To really get their confidence strong headed into March at nationals.
Absolutely, and one thing that's new this season, they switched sides. We got Macy Elliott playing deuce and Lynn Burus playing ad, which wasn't the case before, so going to see how that's going to help them or not against this team
30
today.
all. Pardon me, 40-15. 40-15.
Yeah, I mean, that to take advantage of that Burus, that forehand in the ad court. That's something. Right there you saw her miss a little screenshot. I think Elliott's a pretty phenomenal screen player, I would say. She's not going to miss many shots. It is really cold. That ball's going to stay down. And we'll see if that, factors in here and see, who they go after into the corners.
40-30.
Charlotte Sikora, I think that roller overhead is going to play a big part of this match. To your point with the, cold temperature, the kind of harder, deader ball staying lower, I think that's going to create some challenges and problems for Elliott and Cairo.
I think it could, Dave. I do think it's, and I totally agree with your point that, like on this side with Sikora being on the far right of the two players on the screen, I love this position for that team because she has such range, and she does hit that heavy overhead, which I think can really break down some of the baseline play of Burus and Elliott.
First long point of the match right here. Huge point. Morgan Sikora looking to start out the match with a lead.
It's even interesting early on if you watch Morgan and Sikora at the net, you could see that when they're hitting overheads to Lynn Burus, that they're hitting them hard enough, making sure, maybe even overhitting them to make sure they're getting into the screen, because Lynn is definitely going to be more attacking off the deck than she is going to be off the screen.
And Morgan and Sikora won Long Island, they won Medina, they won Birchwood, they won Cleveland, and they won Baltimore.
Yeah, they're a very
pretty
seasoned
impressive
team.
Advantage, Sikora.
Yeah, in the women's game, we have Morgan Sikora, like we said, 5 tour wins, incredible, more than any other men's or women's team on the tour. Hannah Sabori in the women's play have 3, including 2 of the Grand Prix. Elliott Kiro, we mentioned, 4 finals this year, no wins yet. And Elliott and Sikora teamed up and won Pittsburgh. And the only other tour won by a different team was Anika Lalich, and they won the Montclair event to kick off the season.
I'll tell you what, Patty, it wouldn't be a APTA live stream if Mimo, Pepper, and Virginia weren't watching us at home.
Excellent.
They're tuned into every match.
I can just see the scene in their room right now, Dave, can't you? And Vera?
Oh, yes.
Chilling.
Mimo texted me earlier on and encouraged me to start a conversation on the live stream about how much international flavor is in the game currently, dominating, especially the Spanish players, or Hispanic players, as I should say. We have Jose Salazar on the men's side. We have Felipe Osas-Koenig teaming up with Guilla Nunez. We have 2 players in this women's final, international players. Charlotte Sikora being from France and Lynn Burus from South Africa. So it's awesome to see women coming up to the United States playing college tennis and then sticking around and trying new sports and dominating as well.
And what clubs do these women represent? Vera, do you have that right? Do you have that handy in that paddle brain of yours?
Let's see if I can dig it out from the bottoms of my brain. So Charlotte Sikora actually is currently, I believe she has her own paddle camps and tennis camps business called Racket Odyssey.
Yes.
And she travels around and even travels to France for French Open.
Advantage, Sikora.
Teaches camps all around. I had the pleasure of teaching alongside her after the Baltimore Open. She's a great coach, amazing player and an amazing coach. Just a pleasure to be around. And obviously we have Lynn Burus
Vera. Morgan and Sikora lead the
director at
first set,
Brooks
1 games to love.
All right, that was a long game. Really nice hold to start out the match.
Allison Morgan, teaching pro out in Chicago at Birchwood, I believe. Did you say that?
It's all you, Patty.
We saw that first game, and Charlotte mentioned, not Charlotte, I'm sorry, Vera mentioned how Sikora and Morgan wanted long game, long points. What do you think that's going to favor? I have my opinion. I think that may play into what Morgan and Sikora are trying to do, where I feel like Burus and Elliott are going to, look to speed up play a little bit. But what do you guys think?
Dave, so you're saying slow down play. You think that favors Morgan Sikora? Faster speed of play favors Burus Elliott.
I do. I think so.
It's too early to argue with you on air, Dave. I'm going to go with you.
All right.
Vera, what do you think?
Dave, I agree with you as well. And Sikora and Morgan have been playing together a long time. And as Patty mentioned, they won 5 titles this season. And I think they have a lot of team plays that they come up with where they move as one. And they really know what their partner is doing. And I think in those long points, they tend to use those plays more and more. And I would agree with Dave on his point, but I would love to see if Burus and Elliott can prove us wrong. If the points are long and the pace is slow, I would love to see what kind of plays they're going to come up with.
Because I think if you were to go and, obviously Burus and Elliott, they're going to be, their favorite is the shot makers. It's just now going to be a question of, can they make more shots than Morgan and Sikora can keep balls in play?
Yeah, and right there we saw Morgan had a great look on her forehand and put it in the net, but she had Macy Elliott right on top of the net. The drive wasn't going to get her anywhere. And I'll be curious if Kiro and Burus kind of feed the play over there, avoid Charlotte Sikora off the deck, get it into her screens, and maybe kind of entice Morgan to pull the trigger on some of those forehand drives. She's a super steady forehand, just not an overpowering forehand that can break down a volleyer necessarily.
That's a great point, Patty. I think Allison Morgan's strength is definitely her physicality. She's able to get to a lot of balls, and she's great off the screens, but out of the two of them, she is the less feared one from the middle, and I guess Elliott and Burus just have to make sure they do put that ball just a little bit more towards Morgan's forehand, because otherwise Charlotte Sikora will be sitting on her backhand right there in the middle as well. She loves that backhand drive of hers.
Right, you could see her looking for it right in there. She's kind of cheating over, looking in, and that's when they play really well. When Charlotte
first set
at the
one game each.
Right.
that might not have been the best play. But that's what I'm saying. I love when she can pressure and she counts on Morgan to hit a ball and keep it low, or a deeper, higher lob versus the one that just, on a cold day, it's hard to get those lobs high.
And it's interesting because I feel like Morgan and Sikora would be favored in the longer points, and there was Sikora moving in trying to speed up play.
Love 15.
Yeah, I
Looked
think
like Morgan going for like a little jump shot right there, a little finesse kind of overhead. And to your point earlier, Dave, you were saying how they're almost overhitting their overheads to make sure they get them in the screens. That's what you have to do when it's brutally cold like this.
Right, and like you look at this play right here, I don't know if they want to be looking at Burus's forehand drive at them all morning or all afternoon. I think they're going to rather her play the ball off the screen. There we go again. She's going to beat them off the deck. They've got to get the ball into the screen.
She will, and what we see a lot with Morgan Sikora, great teamwork, good movement, good footwork. We didn't see it right there. Sikora just got caught a little flat-footed on that volley, a little bit off the net, and Burus just hit that beautiful little medium-paced roller that just dipped a little bit, forced an error.
And it was to a great spot, right on the right hip.
Great lob to cause transition here.
We talk about the teamwork of Morgan Sikora, phenomenal, but I also love the teamwork, and especially when I watch Macy Elliott play. Huge fan, because I feel like she does a lot with the ball that people don't recognize is really good, because she spots her lobs, spots her off-pace balls. She doesn't do any more than is required in most situations.
40.
You know, real disciplined, real consistent, really a wise woman on the paddle court.
Absolutely, and she's a great competitor too. Very fierce out there.
Elliott and Kiro. Elliott and Kiro lead the first set, 2-1.
We mentioned that Nika Lalich won the first event on the tour this year. We started that was at Montclair. They beat Elliott and Kiro in the finals. We then went to Medina. Morgan Sikora beat Cruz and B. Lopez in the finals there. Then they would travel to Baltimore. Sikora picked up a win, huge win right there over Hanish and Zabori. Then we went to Chicago Charities. Hanish Zabori beat Elliott and Kiro in that match. We traveled to Cleveland, where Morgan Sikora again took honors over Delmonico and Alexandre. We then went to Philly Cricket. Hanish Zabori took the title there over Elliott and Kiro. Long Island, Morgan Sikora got another win there. Steel City, Elliott and Sikora beat Halballer and Jackson. Hanish Zabori, they beat Anika and Lalich. Milton Point, a new cup, a new event on the tour. A great event held out there in Westchester a couple weekends ago. And then we went to the Midwesterns, where Morgan Sikora won again over Halballer Jackson. So the season's been a lot of Morgan Sikora, and the return and rise to number one of Hanish and Zabori. They really seem to have righted their ship and found their game again after going out in the semis of nationals last year. And they look like they're number one again in my book right now. Someone's going to have to beat them. Dave, can you talk about how these tournaments get weighted point-wise? Like, how come you win charities and it's worth a lot more points than maybe winning a smaller event on the tour? How does it work?
Well, we do have the Grand Slam tournaments. The APTA Tour is comprised of 16 tournaments. Of the 16 tournaments, 4 of them are Grand Prix, and those are Chicago, Philly, Detroit, and the last Grand Prix will be at Short Hills February 10th and 11th. And those tournaments are weighted more based on they have automatically higher values, correct.
And then for the other tournaments, it's the strength of field. So where you see a lot of the top teams playing, you can earn, the winners, finalists, everybody in the tournament will earn more points toward their national ranking.
Vera, do we have any score on the other quarterfinal match?
So we have.
I have my favorite platform tennis player, junior national champion Vincent Broderick, wondering curiously how his dad is doing.
Vincent Broderick, I am so sorry, but your dad was not able to pull it out in the third set.
So, Vera, what happened? Who played? What was the matchup?
So Humphreys and Christian lost the first set
30-40,
6-2, and then they won 6-4 and 6-0 confidently in the third set.
Wow.
Against Benkai and Broderick. Really, really close. Second set especially.
Deuce.
Kind of a shocker, 6-0 in the third. Thanks for that update. Sorry, Vince.
Advantage, Kiro.
And Vera, on the other side of the men's draw, do we have a
Game,
semifinalist up
Kira.
there yet?
Elliott and Kira lead the first set 3-1.
Oops. Hey, Vera.
Yes.
Oh. The Burr Salazar Hansen. Right. Do we have a winner of that match?
We do.
Sikora
Burus
to
and
serve.
Salazar were able to pull a win in 3 sets as well, actually. A lot of
Okay,
close
any
matches
scores on
today.
that?
I don't
Okay.
have the exact scores, but I was just told 5-7, 6-2,
Love
6-3.
15.
I'm getting an update from Dan Hansen. Thank you, Dan.
And then Prasenko Vauclair, Nunez Osix Koning, that's still going on, right?
Still going on.
All right. The winners will play each other. Semifinals following this match. Non-stop action all afternoon from Ridgewood Country Club.
No bounce. 15 all.
So we actually are just getting an update for the Vauclair, Pratenko, Osas Koenig
15,
Nunez
30.
match. It's about to be a 3rd set. Vauclair and Pratenko won the first one 6-3. And it looks like Osas Koenig and Nunez were able to get the W in the 2nd set. So 3rd set will be starting shortly there.
Thank you.
15-40.
I think right here, again, I think Sikora and Morgan have to look to find ways to extend these points. The points are too fast, and I think they're favoring
Game, Elliott
Burus
and
and Elliott.
Kiro. Elliott and Kiro lead the first set 4-1.
Vera, can you tell us about our sponsor, Volley?
Absolutely. Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit getvolley.com.
Elliott to serve.
Shout out to Mendham Cindy Jones. Cynthia Jones is enjoying the action. Another one of the great Jersey clubs, a lot of fans, and they love the live action. APTA has been able to provide weekend after weekend after weekend here
15
on the APTA
love.
channel on YouTube. You guys, you gotta love how many people are outside there with the fire pit. Vera, you're taking it for our team here, running in and out and getting scores. It is really a cold one in the
15
Northeast
all.
today. And but I love all the fans out there bundled up. I mean, they come prepared. And I can't even tell. I thought maybe that was Mark Bliss in the green jacket, but I don't think so. I think Mark's getting warm somewhere right now.
He's gearing up for the next men's semi.
Dave, you see Sikora's positioning here on the baseline. You know, she's dropping back a lot to play defense when she sees a short lob from Allison. I think her footwork's going to, like, I want her to stay forward here. I want her lurking around the baseline so that she can be a little bit more of a threat
15.
because I think the deeper she plays on that deuce side, I kind of feel like it makes it easier to go after Morgan and attack her on the ad side. Does that make sense?
Right, and I think it allows Burus and Elliott to just keep moving ahead, attacking, going forward. And, you know, as much as I think the long points are going to favor Morgan and Sikora, you know, Elliott and Burus are just not letting them get into long points, and they're not extending the points here. And to your point, I think when they start dropping back, it's just creating more opportunity for them.
30-40.
And I like the move from Allison, kind of going over. You guys saw her, you know, in the cold weather. That's where you're going to block up more of the balls, aiming for your corner. And you could see Morgan kind of sliding over to her left there on that play. And, you know, Sikora's kind of following her a little bit, you know, being a trailer on the play. But I think this match comes down to the play of Allison Morgan in the ad court, because I think so much is coming to her in this match.
Deuce.
Charlotte
And literally,
here,
you know, Sikora, right? She literally could get frozen out a little bit here.
for sure. The old-fashioned pick and stick play. They're really sticking with Morgan in her corner. And that play
And
does
out.
both tires her out and gives Sikora no looks, forcing her to rush the play a little bit when the ball does get to her.
Yep, and as two righties, you know, if they can attack the ad court all day long comfortably, that's their ideal setup with the forehand overhead in the middle with two righties. So it lends itself beautifully to going after Morgan in this match. So you love this pressure from Sikora, sneaking in there.
Game,
Morgan was able to keep the
Sikora
ball
and
down low.
Morgan.
Sikora got a great play, great look.
First set, Elliott Kiro 4.
I think that was a big
Sikora
game
and
they
Morgan
needed to win
2.
just to stop. You know, they had lost the previous 4, and you kind of sort of have to stop it a little bit and regroup and, you know, start it back 1 point at a time here. Now that they're behind, maybe they'll tighten it up a
Morgan
little
serve.
bit, and we'll see what happens.
We got another big game coming up right here. If they can hold the serve here, going into a 4-3 versus 5-2. Next game is a big difference, so I'm sure they're going to play really smart here. Patty, like you said, get a lot of balls into screens if they can. Stay tight to the net on volleys when they see Burus loading up for her forehand. And hopefully play those long points that are an advantage to them. Big roller from Sikora.
15
She
love.
loves looking for that shot all day.
And we've seen her win a couple of points already with that roller going towards the nick. And I think she just, again, has to keep pounding it. They don't want Burus taking that ball off the deck. They want make her play it off the screen.
$30 love.
Great off-speed shot there by Allison Morgan. I don't think Elliott was expecting that.
Another one of Morgan's strengths, getting to the ball really fast, keeping that ball low, not giving them a lot of space,
30-15.
which especially works well in colder weather.
All.
That is a beauty of a drive. Great spot as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to just lay the serve in there.
40-30.
I'm wondering if Morgan and Sikora want to try one-up, one-back formation here with Allison staying back, taking that ball off the screen as she loves to do, and Charlotte putting some pressure at the net.
Game, Morgan. First set stands. Elliott and Kiro 4, Morgan Sikora 3.
Yeah, and I think changing any, you know, a
Yes, I
formation
do.
and giving a team a different look,
I was just about to ask.
you know, even if you don't win the point on it, it just makes the other team kind of,
Thank you.
you know, have to make some kind of a little adjustment. So I'm a big fan of giving a little different point of view for what the receiving team looks at.
But do you think they've got to make an adjustment after they just missed 2 returns in a row?
Right, exactly. That's the time that you probably don't have to.
Right.
I mean,
you know, it's like I hear you. You know, if the serve, if you're just trying to get it in the box and they're really teeing off on it, but you know, I think they kind of escaped there with a great hold just by getting the ball in, and I think, you know, Elliott Bursch gave him a couple of points there.
Kiro to serve.
Hey, Dave, quick question from Ellen Birchenall from Beacon Hill. How come we're not seeing more drop shots?
That's a good question. I think
Ball
part of it is,
15.
you know, these players are really picking and choosing when they're driving the ball. You know, the best time for a drop shot is obviously the closer you are to the net, and at this high level, they know that, you know, the best time to hit a drive isn't when the other team is on top of the net.
Right, so they're not really setting themselves. They're avoiding
Right,
it when
they're not-
they have the awareness of the presence of the person at the net pretty close. They're throwing up the lob.
Correct.
I have to say, I did see Morgan Sikora using a lot of drop shots in their semifinal match, especially in the third set against Alexandre and Lopez. So I know they have that in their arsenal, but just like you guys pointed out, the points haven't developed to where a team would find that opportunity just yet.
Right, and you really, to pull off a successful drop shot, you have to be in a good position as a player at the net, but you also need help from the baseline team. One of them has to be dropped back, and when there's an awareness of the person playing closer to the back screen than to the baseline, that might be an opportunity to hit a drop shot off an off-speed ball, let's say.
So it looks like
On that previous point, a really good blitz by Allison Morgan. Good lob, good
Love
blitz.
40.
You feel a little momentum shift here, you guys?
absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're Burus and Elliott, what should you be doing differently right now as the other team is getting hot? What do you guys think?
Dave, what do you think?
I think right now, Bursch and Elliott are just going through a little bit of a patch where, quite honestly, they're just making some unforced errors that, you know, they weren't making previously. To your
Right.
point from earlier, Patty, Sikora is moving around. She's staying closer to the baseline.
15-40.
And I think she's putting, to your point from before, by her staying closer, she is putting a little bit more pressure on them. When she was dropping back, she was taking all the pressure off of Bursch and Elliott when they were at the net. And, you know, at this high level, if you don't have pressure on the net team, if the net team has no pressure,
30,
they're
40.
gonna win most of the games.
Yeah.
Even that, I think that's a good move. At that time, I thought it was a good return, and you know, it at least keeps them thinking.
It was a great move. If she were taller, she would have pulled it off. Just a little bit out of her comfort zone.
Deuce.
You know, I never see much difference in the temperament, like the body language out of Elliott and Kira Burus. You know, they got the early lead 4-1. You know, to your point, Dave, Sikora Morgan made a little bit of adjustment, just keeping more balls in play. Sikora and I think Elliott and Burus are just gonna, like you say, they just ride that little wave. You can appreciate when your opponents all of a sudden start stringing together some points, and they don't really have to make any adjustments yet. They're just rock solid. I don't see they have any need for them to change anything.
Oh, and like I said earlier, I just think it's coming down to if Morgan and Sikora can extend these points and make them hit more balls.
Advantage, Kiro.
And see, right there, Sikora, I think, hit a heck of a lob deep, and she had Elliott and Kiro in a funky formation, I think, personally, and that would have been a great time for Morgan to maybe even blitz. Like, that's what they've got to be aware of. If your partner hits a really good lob and you see a team really off balance about to hit an overhead, that might be something where that can take advantage of Allison Morgan's quickness.
Right.
Deuce. Advantage, Kiro.
We talked about Bursch and Ardoya, our defending national champs. A great team in the draw today. Dave Roderick, who is the team that has played together the longest in this tournament? How many years do you think there's a team in this tournament that's played together? What's your guess? Give me a number.
I might have to say 21.
You are a psychic.
Game,
That would
Kiro.
be Cindy Prendergast, Lauren
First
Zink, a
set
great team,
stands,
three-time
Elliott,
national
Kiro,
champs.
5. Morgan Sikora 3.
Three-time national champs together in this draw. They keep grinding. They are just a phenomenal team, and we
Sikora
talked
to
about the
serve.
camaraderie earlier in the other match. And they're just great friends. They thoroughly enjoy the game. They're
15
both in the
left.
Hall of Fame, and I just feel like their presence in these tournaments is a gift to the sport of platform tennis, and a way for these younger, newer players in the game to just learn some of the history of the
15
sport. And I hope
all.
it becomes important to them. And a player like Cindy and Lauren are just amazing, gracious winners. I was lucky enough to play with Cindy for a
30,
stretch. We
15.
played together 6 years. She is a rock star in our sport. One of our game's greatest players ever, in my opinion.
Patty,
Yeah,
you
it was
and
good to see
Cindy.
that they're still playing. Yep. Go ahead, Vera.
Patty, you and Cindy
30
have a national title together, don't you?
We do. We played 6 years. We were lucky enough to be 6 straight years in the finals of the women's nationals. It didn't have the depth in the game, but there were so many great teams that we always battled close from like quarter semis and on. And we were lucky to have a pairing for as long as it lasted. And Cindy and Lauren just keep going. They haven't gotten especially deep in a draw in a tournament recently, but for them,
40,
the value in
30.
this is just keeping their role in the sport and being a part of it, and the sport is so lucky to have them. Lauren Zink, Dave, remember when she came out on the tour? I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit actually in the second set.
No one had previously saw that. She came out firing forehands, firing backhands.
Firing the roller overhead.
That's it.
I think after Robin Fulton's overhead, Lauren Zink was next in my book to make you pay on a short lob.
Deuce.
They talk about how the game changed and all the power and whatever. Dave, you've seen it for years, and you saw the likes of Robin Fulton and just, some of the game's greats, have these shots that you just see a lot more players on the tour possess now. Lauren hit the roller overhead that people couldn't even get back.
All right, so we have set point number 1 here for Burus Elliott.
Game, Elliott and Kiro. That concludes the first set. Elliott and Kiro, 6. Morgan Sikora, 3.
Patty, we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
Ready for a whole new training experience? Welcome to Volley. At Volley, we've developed the first AI training system for racket sports, providing pros with the advanced teaching tools they've been waiting for, and giving players a new way to level up their game and enhance their time on the court. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today and learn what Volley can do for you. We'll see you on the court.
It is, it's 6-3, so you switch ends.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from Ridgewood Country Club. This is the second set of the
Elliott
women's
to
finals.
serve. Second set.
Burus and Elliott won the first set 6-3 over Allison Morgan and Charlotte Sikora. I'm Patty Hogan along with Vera Basanova and David Broderick.
All right, here we go. Start the second set.
Love, 15.
Looks like Charlotte Sikora coming out, starting the second set with a little bit of a will to win there with that backhand.
Okay, so Dave, what adjustments do you think we should see, or if you're coaching Sikora and Morgan on the near court, that's Allison Morgan hitting the ball, stripes across the back of her jacket, that's Charlotte Sikora out of the deuce court, throwing up a lob. What would you tell them, Coach Dave?
I think they just have to reduce the unforced errors. I just think they made too many
15
mistakes, maybe trying to press a little bit too much. Like I said, I think if they play longer points, it favors them. And again, we saw Charlotte and Sikora trying to press. I don't think they want to do that against Burus and Elliott.
15-30.
And I'm with you. I'm with you on that because I feel like the volleys of Burus and Elliott are phenomenal. You know, they have a really big range at that net.
15-40.
Really solid volleyers, and you've got to create those spaces for yourself. And you know, if you press too early in the point, to your point, that's where some of the errors come in, and they just can't afford those errors. Other than that, there's not much separation here.
I think they just have to slow the pace. Like, they don't need that right now. They should be looking to extend points, slow the points down. Burus, Elliott, they want this fast-paced tempo.
And Morgan can't run in and come up with a volley. Like, Sikora hit a decent shot, but she took it right to the strength, right at Lynn Burus, and Lynn's never missing that shot, and she's just going to pound it. And she just went for a more aggressive volley because she saw Morgan cheating into the court.
Right, I want them to let the ball come to them. I want them to take their time, just hit good shots, and extend the points. Extend the points.
Deuce.
Like, just throw up a lob there and keep the point going. Patty, I want to say hello out there to the captain of the Goose Charter Fishing Boat, Ryan Phoebus, recovering from knee surgery, big paddle player down in Spring Lake, New Jersey.
Advantage in.
Wishing him a speedy recovery to get him back on Fiddler's Elbow 1 men's paddle team.
All right. Hey, Vera, is Connor Breen anywhere near you where he might be able to give us an update on that Vauclair quarterfinal match?
Connor is
Not sure.
not nearby right now, but I'm pretty sure we can get an update from someone else. Let me get on that and get right back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Really good lob from Sikora right there. There's the drop shot, Ellen Birchenough.
There's a couple. That's right. There's a couple. We saw 2 in one game, or 1 point. Patty, we see in the background that beautiful paddle hut at Ridgewood Country Club, newly designed and done. Apparently, it's known as the house that Burus built. For Billy Dunn.
Morgan Sikora.
As I said earlier, he does a lot of great events up there, and
one game to love.
he's sort of the leader of
won the first set.
parade.
Billy Dunn plays a key role, doesn't he? Help out in both leagues, Dave, in Jersey, Bergen County
does.
League, I believe, and
Bergen County League, the men's league of the New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis League, and it's quite a community they have up there. Quite honestly, it's if you go up there any night of the week, there's always fun stuff going on.
Dave, have you played this golf course?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Pretty incredible design, I've heard.
It is. I've been fortunate to be involved in the Saturday afternoon Burus too.
Course record here? Who shot it, Dave?
I did. I shot 147.
What about a golf pro?
Oh, the low. Oh, you want the low. That I don't know.
Hunter Mahan, 63. I sent it to you in a text, Dave. Sorry. I was trying to tee you up.
Love 40.
Well, listen, the good news is for everyone that's sending me texts and I don't mention them or say they ask their question, now you know I don't really read my text while I'm on there.
Yeah. Dave, you're not known as a master communicator. Dave, you know what? I'm sitting here. This is fun to be inside, staying warm on this brutally cold day in the Northeast. Morgan Sikora. What baseline adjustment do you think they could make to apply a little bit more pressure? You got anything? Because I got
do.
some.
Elliott, Kiro, second set stands 1-all.
I think they just have to stop stepping in, stop coming forward. I just think they want to let the points come to them. I don't really think they should be looking to press at this stage.
You just heard the voice of Mike Himska, another great APTA umpire, calling that Nunes and Osis Koning are up 4-1 in their quarterfinal matchup against the one and only Louis Vauclair and Anton Prosenko. Dave, what I was thinking, Morgan Sikora, they both can play both sides. And I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I'm just curious about it. I feel like if it's a little flat offensively and you're feeling like you're struggling to put a sequence of shots consistently together, like some repeatable play from the baseline, when you're really good like this, they can switch sides. I'd like a little mixing it up, I think, during a point.
Well, I also think we're starting to see that maybe switching on the baseline could be a good move for Sikora Morgan, only because it's looking like Burus Elliott are hitting a lot of balls to Allison Morgan over there on the backhand side right now.
Right, so two righties, it's ideal for them to go after that at court. And if they're going to follow Allison and go after her, move her over to that deuce court and force, Burus and Elliott to modify their overhead scheme.
Right. Because obviously they want to stay away from the Sikora backhand.
Real quick, Patty and Dave and all our viewers, we have an update on the last men's quarterfinal match remaining. Osis Koenig and Nunez are up 4-1 in the third set against Vauclair and Prosenko.
Thank you, Vera.
$30-40. Game, Sikora and Morgan. Second set stands, Sikora and Morgan 2, Elliott, Kira 1.
Patty, and I think Burus and Elliott are giving away quite good amount of free points if Morgan and Sikora could just extend the points a little bit.
Yep.
Sikora Morgan here, second set up 2-1. I think this is a bigger game for Sikora Morgan than it is for Burus Elliott.
Agreed.
I think they've got to create a little separation. And there we go. Just, going for a little bit too much. And I think for Morgan and Sikora, you have to almost, let them hit a winner. Nope. But you got to cut back on the unforced errors.
Yeah, and Sikora lucked out there. The Kiro missed that ball in the net. Sikora seems like when she's on top of the net, the player to the right, she's looking like she's backing up a little bit and dropping her paddle head, which is pretty dangerous on a cold day.
30-15.
And Burus got her a little bit early on in the first set on that, so I'll be curious to see if they're going at Charlotte a little bit more at the net. See See how low her
Right.
bottle is? Like she's off the net, letting that ball get down on her. I think against Kiro, you got to get on top of that net when you're the player to the right.
Well, I also think part of that problem is that Lynn's dropping bombs on her straight ahead.
15.
Right, but she's got to close in, and
Right.
Elliott's saw an opening, and that's what's going to happen. When you volley off the net, it does open up the door on the other side for some pressure and some blitz. Some looks for you to blitz.
Game, Morgan.
And we see a backhand roller.
Morgan and Sikora lead the second set 3-1. Elliott to serve.
Morgan and Sikora wish it was 4-1, but it's only 3-1 still.
Love 15.
If it does get to that point, though, that will be a pretty hefty lead. And potential third set coming up.
What a great shot. So deep to Allison Morgan. I thought the ball was really close. Maybe it's going to go out, but, nothing but net right there, real deep and forced an error.
There we see in the background one of our chair umpires, Mark Bliss.
15:30.
Getting ready for the men's semifinal.
I cannot believe he's standing outside getting ready for the men's semis.
He must be getting acclimated to the temperature. He should be sitting in the house that Burus built. Big point right here.
Yeah, what a serve from Elliott.
30-40.
I think even if this wasn't a lead winner, that was still a great drive by Morgan. And just like you guys were pointing out earlier, she was inside of the court looking for that shot, not staying too far back.
Game, Morgan, Sikora. Morgan, Sikora lead the second set 4-1. You ladies want a new ball? Do you want a new ball?
Vera, how about we hear from another one of our sponsors?
Absolutely. So in collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Sikora to serve. Pardon me. Yeah, Sikora to serve.
Shout out, Dave, to one of your members from Fiddler's Elbow Country Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Leslie Conway is enjoying the action, and she said that your words that you keep saying over and over and over and over and over, Dave, sinking in a little bit. She can see it. She can see it in action, being executed. She's starting to be a believer, aren't you, Leslie?
Vera, can you imagine people are going to start believing what I say?
No, that's the short answer. I'll have to think a little longer for a more fun one.
Who would have thought this is what we're coming to?
Dave, one way or the other, you're still the legend.
The man,
Nah.
the myth, the legend. Dave
I had
Brunberg.
a good teacher that still keeps teaching me.
There you go.
Like, I really like this point. Love this point.
And just quickly, guys, looks like Osis Koenig and Nunez were able to pull out a win. Confident win in the third set. So they're moving on into semifinals.
Yeah, they're headed for a matchup against the other Burus and Salazar. And I think we'll be showing you that match at the completion of the women's finals.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. I think that's going to be our men's semifinal match.
Shout out to Sue Lombardi, 242.
The doctor.
The doctor. I mean, who wants to watch football when you can watch? Are there football games on today, Dave?
15 all.
I don't know. I'm, usually on Saturdays, Sundays, I'm glued to watching, live streaming of APTA platform tennis. The old lefty overhead.
That's how good they are, Dave.
Listen, you go to Charlotte's paddle camp, you become ambidextrous.
Yeah, Charlotte hits a decent amount of those lefty balls on a ball that maybe catches her a little off balance, and she simply moves her paddle over to her other hand and blocks it. And, Vera is learning to become a lefty. Unfortunately, Vera had a little injury over the holidays with her right thumb, and so she understands the game and the timing of shots and the rhythm, and she's getting really good lefty. You go, Vera.
Thank you, Patty. I appreciate the shout out.
Game, Elliott, Kiro.
Sure, that'll teach you. Stay out of the
Second
spur
set stands.
in Park
Morgan
City.
Sikora 4, Elliott, Kiro 2.
Vera, were you
Serve.
doing 1, 2, 3, 4, let's have a thumb war? Is that how the injury happened?
That could be a more fun story than the one that actually happened. It was just not enough snow in the mountain, unfortunately, and just the slopes were a little bit icy for a complete
15
beginner like
look.
me. So I picked up too much pace and didn't know how to stop. It's as simple as that.
All right, well, we're hoping you have a speedy recovery.
Thank you, Patty. I'm happy to be commentating and joining you guys today, and still being involved in tournaments as much as I can.
It's funny. We don't see that many dramatic differences from the 6-3 first set. It's just now Morgan Sikora are up 4-2, and Dave, I guess another team's listening to you. A little bit more deliberate play and just nice steady play. I don't see much change from what Burus or Elliott are doing. Do you guys see any change?
No, again, I think they're just making a couple of mistakes. Burus, Elliott, the last couple of service games, they've actually faulted twice in each game. And at this level, if you only have the other team have to win 2 points to win a game,
30 all.
they're gonna win games.
Great point, Dave.
So I was chatting to Macy Elliott before this final, and I wanted to get some fun facts from her before this match, and she said that last time they played this team, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was the last time they played, they had 6 match points against them, and they weren't able to capitalize on them. So I'm wondering if Burus and Elliott maybe speeded up a few things in the second set because they just did not want that momentum to get away from them. And perhaps that's kind of what caused a few of those unforced errors. What do you guys think?
40-30.
Dave, can you answer? I'm having a snack.
Again, I don't know if it's necessarily what Burus and Elliott are doing. I think it's a little bit more of Sikora Morgan just, making them play more balls, keeping more balls in play. It doesn't really look like they're doing much pressing. I just,
Kiro.
I don't know. It's also starting to turn into kind of a, we can make so many mistakes, and then we can make so many mistakes. And I think at some point, someone's got to sort of steady the ship and up back on unforced errors. But I will give you another fun fact. As we talk about Leslie Conway, she now thinks that she can switch hands because Charlotte Sikora does. So that is a fun fact.
Nice. Dave, we've got another question for you. From Elizabeth.
I crack under pressure.
Morgan to serve.
From Elizabeth Reisinger, I believe. Is it harder to play aggressive paddle when it's cold? When it's this cold? Dave, what do you think?
Oh, you want to drive that ball.
Is it easier to play? Yeah.
The ball's heavier. The ball drops. It allows for more drives. If you lob too much, it's harder to play the screens because of the cold weather. So, cold weather on that 50-50 ball, should I lob, should I drive? Hit the drive. Unless they're hanging over the net, of course.
This is the 11th stop on the APTA Tour this year. After this, we go to our third Grand Prix of the year next weekend out in the Detroit Invitational. After Detroit, we'll be heading to Short Hills, where Dave, kudos to you for your 20-year run as the director at Short Hills Club, and to you, Vera, the head professional there, working with Chris Humphreys, doing a wonderful job. You took the torch from Dave and then to Harry, and Short Hills is in great shape under Chris Humphreys' leadership, along with yours and Will Everett's. After Short Hills, you're welcome. After Short Hills, the tour will resume the following weekend in Indianapolis. Then we'll go to the Philly Open, and that will be the weekend of February 24th. And then we have Men's and Women's Nationals weekend of March 8th, 9th, 10th up in Boston out of the Country Club. Non-stop action on our 16 tour stops for the 2023-24 season.
Patty, at the Nationals up in Boston, it will be a special event for one of my favorite platform tennis players of all time to watch, Johan Duran, getting inducted into the APTA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the GOAT. What a phenomenal role he's played in our sport. Individually, he's had extraordinary accomplishments, but for the region, up in Boston area, the New England paddle, he was a godsend and just really has helped the Boston paddle scene just, blossom and just growing year after year after year. Kudos to Johan for being a part of that tremendous growth and, bringing the Nationals to Boston for the first time ever.
Should be a fun event.
We got another big point right here. If Sikora and Morgan can get this game and extend their lead to 5-3, that would be huge.
30-40.
Otherwise, they'll let Burus and Elliott right back into that match.
Right. And I like the switch. I like, I wanted to see Sikora and Morgan kind of pull a switch a little bit on the baseline just to give Burus and Elliott a little different look. Just left that wide. And
Elliott and Kiro.
How many times have we seen this shot, guys? I mean, if you're Charlotte Sikora, should you be doing something different?
Well, we talked about it.
Net?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. She's playing off the net and just waiting on her heels and her paddle's down. You've got to have, I always say, you got to have your paddle head up and the rest of your body down. And you got to close in.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Vera, that you asked that question because the last game Sikora and Morgan were serving, I swear I wanted to ask, how many points is Lynn going to win by bombing it down the line? Like to Patty's point, right? Like, at what point are you going to get on top of the net? You know, and
Right.
listen, to Burris's credit, if it ain't broke, keep doing it.
Right, and I mean, Lynn Burris's forehand is a weapon in our sport, one of the greatest weapons in our sport. And you just don't have to, you just can't hit an overhead. You just can't give her the shot. And if you do give her to her, you damn well better get on top of the net. And we talk about that at High Energy Paddle. You have to close in. When you know that drive's coming, you know, you got one thing to bail, but the other thing is hold your ground up there and get your paddle up. Close in.
30-15.
Yeah, I don't think you wanted to know my thoughts once they turned into 4-4. I think that was the game that Burris and Elliott needed to maybe potentially put them over the edge quickly.
You know what? I felt that exact same way, Dave. It's funny. Every game in this set, I was like, it's more important to Morgan and Sikora. Kept being more important to Morgan and Sikora because, you know, the team play, Kira and Burris and defending national champs, they know how to win. Doesn't matter what the score is, they know how to win. And when you have that opportunity, if you don't close that door, watch out. They're going to just take over.
And you know what I like about Burris and Elliott is that, you know what, they do throw in some mistakes, but when you can win points, that's okay. And you know what, they can win points.
Sure, some of the errors off. You're saying the errors are offset by the winners that they.
40-15.
Right. And you know, unlike a lot of teams, they can actually win points. And I think a couple times, even in this game, you know, you see Charlotte hitting returns, coming in behind it, moving around. I don't necessarily know if movement is good against them. I think you want to kind of, you know, hunker down and just play good, solid points.
Elliott and Kira lead the second set, 5-4.
So
Elliott
Vera,
and Kira won the first set, 6-3.
Vera, would you? I know that you're seated closer to Jake than I am. Could you ask Jake if this match does conclude, you know, with Burris and Elliott able to close it out here? Would a men's we'll be ready to go
Court,
immediately with the men's semifinals? Vera, could you check that with Jake?
Yeah, sounds like he's going to check real quick, and we'll get that answer momentarily.
Sure, I don't know how much time we're expected to get Burris Salazar against Nunez Osis Koning, but they just finished that 3-set brawl with Louis, so I'm just not sure what the timing would be.
Louis.
Louis.
If we could give uninterrupted coverage to our viewers out there, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I like it when we go, back to back matches. It's great. Yes, Vera.
Sounds like the men's semifinal is going to be starting at 6 p.m.
Okay, thanks for that. You know, Dave, maybe in between we can just get Louisville Claire to just talk and see what Louis has to say. How great would that be?
Maybe we give the paddle world a French lesson.
Oui.
Louis would love doing that.
Or we can put Mark Bliss on there too, guys. I mean, he would love to entertain the crowd that's listening at home.
Love 30.
Listen, Mark Bliss does have a great referee voice, by the way.
Absolutely. He has a lot of presence.
A voice for radio, as my husband would say.
Well, that's funny. People tell me I have a face for radio.
You know, that's true, Dave. True or false?
Hey. You know, I'm sitting here. I'm listening.
Dave, your face is so cool. People try to be you, I've heard.
Apparently, there is someone out there that wants to be me.
Yeah, you know, they picked the wrong.
Unfortunately, he also wants to be in my bank account.
He's going to think twice and try to steal your identity, Dave.
15-30.
Well, especially when the teller said, "Oh, he's got about $10,000 outstanding debt. Would you like to pay it?"
All right, 2 points away from the match here for Burus Elliott.
What a
15-40.
great shot. Right in the line.
Yes, it did. Sure.
All right, double match point right here. Championship point, I should say. Wow, what a point. The longest point in the match, I think.
What do you guys think? Do you think Morgan and Sikora are letting Elliott hit enough balls?
I don't think so. I think they'll look back in this match and wish they'd tested her a little bit more.
Especially when they were in trouble.
That's game, set, match. Elliott Kiro. 6-4.
All right,
6-4.
then there you have it. Burus Elliott, our Atlantic Classic Women's
played, ladies.
Champion,
Awesome
6-3, 6-4, over Charlotte Sikora and Allison Morgan. Patty, what do you think about what we just saw?
I think it's a cold day in North Jersey. I think that
I can tell you it is a cold day in North Jersey.
Macy Elliott, I played a match that I always expect from her. Really smart, very few unforced errors. I think they could have tested her more. I think Lynn Burus' forehand was the difference in the match. Kind of caught those Morgan Sikora off the net a little bit. You know, her forehand broke them down a little bit, and that's what you can see in the cold weather. And kudos to Burus and Elliott for their first win of the season. 5 finals, their first win, and they're in great shape heading, for the remainder of the season. And really fun. And Vera, that was fun having you here in the booth joining us.
Thank you,
I
guys.
hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
We're not going to do an interview after this match tonight. It's a little nippy out there. They'll do a quick trophy presentation. And Dave, I hear we are up next, 6 p.m., men's semifinal
I got the
action.
extended room rate.
And Vera, thank you again. Enjoyed doing this. Great afternoon of women's final paddle from Ridgewood Country Club up in Paramus, New Jersey. And that's a wrap from the Ridgewood Country Club at the Atlantic Classic Women's Final. Please stay tuned as the men's semifinals will be live streamed at 6 p.m. tonight with Patty Hogan, Dave Broderick, and along with Guy Moore. So please stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
At first we were a little intimidated, the robot machine, but it was pretty easy, user-friendly tool to get reps in.
What's helpful with the trainer is that the ball is being, fed to us, where he can visually see it and correct us.
All right, those who are on the dots, I want you guys to see the position of the players at net. So once Val gets pushed out wide, okay, we want to see Aaron sliding over and looking to cover.
Well, I like that you can work on different shots. You can work on corner screens or you can work on the lobs, you can work on return of serve particularly. That's something I feel like we could never get enough work on, return of serve, and this is a tool that we could use to really work on that shot, which is such an important shot.
After today, it really did make me feel even more comfortable. I tried it a month ago and I really liked it, but I still felt a little intimidated. But Blake did a great job explaining it to us and also the software that comes with it, and we can adjust it to any level. So I would feel very comfortable using it. In fact, I'm definitely going to use it. I need a lot of work on my game.